Alright, this is a public service announcement for all my friends around the world who need to move money from country to country. Perhaps you worked overseas for a bit and you saved some money and now you need to bring it back home, or maybe you're moving somewhere and you need to put a deposit on a flat or buy some furniture and you need to bring some money over before your first paycheck arrives. So how do you do it? How do you transfer the money? Well, a lot of people end up milking the ATM, and that's the worst way to do it. It's super expensive. So the best way that I've found to transfer money over is to use a money transfer service. If you don't want to watch the entire video, just check the links in the description. I'm linking to 3 money transfer services that I've used and that I like, and you can just check them out already. Now, before we dive too deep, you need to understand that no matter which technique you use to move the money, you will end up paying. Nobody's gonna move your money overseas for free. You end up paying via fees, and you pay via the spread. The spread is the part that most people don't check, and it's by far the most expensive. So what is the spread? Well, the spread is the difference between the actual mid-market rate and the rate that you'll end up getting for your transaction. Let's take an example that's easy to understand. Let's say you want to move $5,000 from Australia to Canada, and that today's exchange rate is a very easy 1 Australian dollar equals 1 Canadian dollar. First, there's the obvious milking the ATM. Australian bank card, Canadian ATM, pop the card in, get $500 out. Your bank will charge you perhaps $4 in fees, and the ATM, because you're using a foreign card, will also charge you $4 in fees, so that's $8 total in fees. When you look at the small print on the receipt, you realize that you're not getting the exchange rate of the day, which was 1 Australian dollar equals 1 Canadian dollar. You're getting a different exchange rate. The exchange rate you're getting is 1 Australian dollar equals 94 Canadian cents. So what happened there? Well, the spread is what happened there. Your bank is charging you a 6% spread. So how much did it cost to move $500 then? Well, we paid $8 in fees plus a 6% spread, which means that the total cost of the transaction was $38. Now remember, we didn't want to move $500, we wanted to move $5,000. This means that if we went back to the ATM 10 times because of the daily $500 limit, the total true cost of our transaction would be $380. That's insanely expensive. So there must be another way. So the other obvious way is to use an international wire transfer at your bank. Now I looked at my own bank and they charge a $22 flat fee plus the same 6% spread. That means in this case that the total cost of the transaction would be $322. So it's a bit cheaper than the ATM, but still very expensive. So that brings us to our third option, my favorite, the cheapest, which is using an international money transfer service. The way these services work is they have bank accounts all over the world, and you transfer locally and they do the international part of the transfer. So the first one is xe.com. Xe charges a 1.5% spread and no fees, so the total true cost of the transaction would be $75. The second service is TransferWise. TransferWise charges a 0.7% fee and no spread, so the total true cost of the transaction would be $35. And finally, CurrencyFair charges a 0.56% spread and no fee, so the total true transaction cost would be $27. Now that's insane when you think about it. If you compare milking the ATM at $380 to the cheapest money transfer service at $27, that's a massive difference. Alright, so money transfer services are cheap, but how do you use them? Well, the first thing you need to do is open an account with them. Usually that means going on their website and sending them some photos or scans of ID documents. And most of the time you need 2 pieces of ID, for instance, a passport and a driver's license and a proof of address. So a recent utility bill or anything with your name and your current address on it. So once your account is up and running, how do you move money around? Well, you need to set up a trade. So you go on the service's website or mobile app and set up the trade by telling the system, I want to move that much money from country A to bank account XYZ in country B. Now, once you've set up the trade, the system will give you important local bank detail information for you to transfer the money. So the next step is simply to go on your own bank's website, the same website you use to check your balance or pay your bills, and do a local transfer to the money transfer service. And that's it. Now all you have to do is wait for the money to show up at the other end. All right, so out of the 3 money transfer services that we looked at, XE, TransferWise, and CurrencyFair, which one do I recommend? Well, it's simple. I recommend all 3 of them. Setting up an account with them is free. It's a bit of work, but once you've done it once, it's good forever, and you're good to go. So whenever you move, you just pick whichever service is giving you the easiest and the fastest and the cheapest trade. Also, if you look in the description, I've put a few referral links that gives you a free transfer with TransferWise and a free transfer with CurrencyFair, plus some bonus cash if you transfer above a certain amount. So really, if you subscribe to both of them, you will get 2 free transfers instead of just 1. So freebie, why not? So that's it. I hope you found this video useful. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. I'll check it out and see if I can help you out. So in the meantime, have a nice one, and I'll see you later. Bye.